Hey guys, DJ here, and I know what you're thinking. Where's Starshine? Well, we don't need him for this because we're talking Cities and Knights, and you got a three-time King of Catan Cities and Knights champion here helping you out. Okay, I'm just kidding. Starshine's here too. What's going on?
Yay! Oh, that was a good bragging. Love it.
Well, the problem is the two times I've lost Cities and Knights, it's been to you. So
Hey, no one needs to know that. But hey guys, everyone, Starshine here. As DJ already said, I'm here with the Catan Master, the Grandmaster, and we will place out a board today.
Yep. So today we're doing Cities and Knights placeouts, right? So the first one's a settlement, and then the second one is a city, and we're looking at a very unique board, right?
Oh, absolutely. I have the board in front of me, and we want your thoughts, CJ. What do you think?
So Cities and Knights, I think even more than base, and no wheat equals defeat. So the first thing that jumps out at me, of course, it's a low ore board. We looked at it in the last video for base. That's hard to get cities, but I still value wheat a lot in Cities and Knights, so I would probably take the 8-5-10 in first position.
I think this is very much more clear than it is for base game, just because wheat is so much valuable, because you will need it all the time to activate your knights again. And especially the 5-8-10 has one big advantage. You need to get your first knight up, and I think wheat is one resources to get that. And with the 5-10, you have the good possibility to trade wheat away at the beginning. So.
Oh yeah. Yep. 100%.
Yeah.
I think the wheat's always useful. Also, if you get a merchant, your super wheat production is really helpful. So you don't necessarily need to get the wheat port.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, and I think we locked the 5-8-10 right in.
Yep.
All right, I think it gets way more tougher for second position there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is tough.
Yeah, this is tough because I think you have a lot of options. First of all, you can look at that 6 wood just because you want to lock it for the third and fourth position, so they don't get a city on it. Because I think the 6 wood will be a central tile in the game, of course, just because of the aqueduct.
Yeah. Well, I'm also worried about the 8-3 and the 6-3 sheep. Like putting a city on that early and getting those early progress cards in the yellow track is also very scary.
Exactly, because a mono can, of course, screw you completely if he monos your valuable ore from the 11, right? So.
Yep. I think that 6-4-11 or 8-4-10 is kind of your look at second position, though. The reason for the two of them is you're getting on wheat, you're getting on sheep, and you're getting on wood, which are all very good in Cities and Knights once you city them up, especially.
Yeah.
So it's not the greatest spot, but you don't want an early city on either of those spots. And then if you can get a city later in the game, it's really going to help you out.
Exactly. I think I would take 4-8-10 over the 4-6-11, to be honest, just because you have the better wheat to start with, which is a bit safer for your first night. So you also have the ability to trade sheep for wheat with first position if an 8 rolls. Yeah.
So 8-4-10. I would point towards the coast just to be safe. And that's and it's a good place to put your knight, because once you city this up, you can defend your 8 sheep and your 10 wood.
Yeah, your
so I kind of like
productions. Right. So yeah, I completely agree with you. I would take 4-8-10 a second. Oh, this places it out itself, right? So.
Yeah, so third position becomes... Actually, where do you think you go for third position here?
I think this is even tougher now, because you definitely know now that for fourth position will get a spot on the 6 wood. And I always think, no matter what you leave opened, the 4-6-11 or the 5-6-11 will be the city spot for fourth position. So the question is, what do you value more?
So this is where I would get a little bit interesting. I would take the 6-4-11 here.
And let the fourth position have the ore for the start.
Yes, because I'm going to take the 5-9-10 with my city and get on the brick port.
5-9-10 with the city. That is a very interesting thought, yeah.
So, because here's the thing. Yeah. So if you city the 5-9-10, right? Yes, you don't have ore. So the hard part is you still need a wheat and a sheep. So it's going to be really tough no matter what. Maybe you take the 5-9-10 here, actually. No, because they can go 6-5-11, 6-4. But I mean, my thought is if I city the 5-9-10, I already have 2 bricks. So if I roll 1 more brick, I can 4 for 1 resource already. So now I just need the other 2.
One thing though, if you take 5-9-10 though, now with the settlement, then you definitely are guaranteed to get 5-6-11, 4-6-11, or 3-6-9 as your city. I think that is not the worst trade-off, is it?
Oh yeah, you could do because 5-9-10. Yeah, 6-4-3 or 9-4-3. could work as well. Yeah, that actually would work. I think you do take 5, 9, 10. Actually, looking back at it.
Yeah. No, I just feel like, of course, you will leave for position everything he wants. But on the other hand, he will get blocked all game. We will know that. And at least you will get a better setup. Because I think 5-9-10 settlement and 3-6-9 city, I think that would be the worst case in that scenario, would still be not a that bad setup.
Yeah, I agree. I like the 5, 9, 10 in third position with the brick port because, yeah, if you don't have access to ore and stuff, like you can produce commodities with a 2-for-1 port in Cities and Knights.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you get the 3-6-9 city, you got the claw, so I really not disagree with that setup.
Fourth position is going to be in an interesting spot, though.
Yes, I think so too. But we will lock in the 5-9-10 and see what we do.
Yep.
So I think one of the cities, the city has to be on the 6 wood, definitely. No matter what you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or do you think the 3-6-9 is a possibility?
The 3-6-9 is a possible city. The problem is I actually like taking the 6-4-11 as a city because then I start with the wheat and I start with a sheep. But I could also but here's the thing. If you take, so are you ever taking 6-5-11 and 6-4-11 here?
I would consider it just because you have the chance of the 11 rolling. But on the other hand, you only have one other chance to get the ore, and that would be probably 2 6s. Otherwise, I think you have a tough time to get the ore.
Yeah, I kind of like that though. I like the 6-5-11 6. I like the city on the 6-4-11, and the other one on the 6-5-11. Here's why: if you roll a 6, you're going to get 2 wood every time, which is good because then it gives you an easier chance to 4-for-1 for it.
Yeah.
You could even take the 6-3-11 and just say no to brick on this board. You could do 6-3-11, 6-4-11, but that's probably not the smartest move.
I think doubling up on the 6 has some possibilities to win the game, definitely. Because, of course, you depend on the early rolls, you only have 4 different numbers. But if you can save your city, I think you have a chance, because you have the aqueduct. If you can keep the city long enough until 6 rolls, a moderate time.
Yeah. And I think that and if you city up the 6-4-11, you start with the wheat and the sheep, so you need an 11 to roll, or you just need to 4-for-1 for 1 resource, which is not impossible.
Yeah.
I think you try to get you want to point one of your roads so that you can protect the 6 wood with your opening night. That's the key. But I like that for 4th and 5th. Is the 6-5-11 is the settlement is in 4th, and then 5th spot take that 6-4-11 city.
Yeah,
I think bank on that 6.
Yeah, I think you have to definitely city up to 4-6-11 just because you start with 2 resources off the night.
Yep.
Instead of 1.
And if a 4 rolls, you can get a merchant, you can get a resource monopoly.
Yeah.
There's a chance.
Yeah, of course, progress cards can help you a lot in the early. So.
100%.
Yeah, I think we do 5-6-11, 4-6-11 with the spots. For this, I don't know. I think the roads are pretty different compared to base game, because I think you definitely, as you said, want to protect the 6 wood.
Yeah, so I think you can do it a lot of different ways, but I think I like pointing the middle road from the 6-5-11 towards the 3 wood, and the other one just pointing up towards the 3-for-1 port. I don't think you need the 11-12 because you're going to go for the aqueduct.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you don't have a lot of expansion spots, but I think that this protects your wheat. It protects your wheat, sheep, wood, and ore. Once you build 2 knights, so I like that setup for my roads. I'm not really worried about my expansion spots. I'm hoping to try to get the aqueduct. I'm hoping to get an inventor to increase my production. That's sort of what I'm playing with business.
An inventor would be huge. I agree. I would still point this road on the 4-6-7 to the right, though. I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Because, as you said, the 12 is not doing anything for you. And then I think you have the extra settlement spot on the 11.
Yep. And you can also protect that sheep, which is nice once you get a knight there. Yeah, no, is that what I said? I like it to the right. My bad.
Yeah.
I think we agreed. We agreed.
Yeah. So we place it down like that, and look again on the 6th city, which is 3-6-9, or do you think 6-9-2?
6-9-2 or 9-3-4. Probably 6-9-2.
9-3-4. Oh yeah, that's also a possibility. But I would definitely place down the city on the 6 sheep, to be honest.
Yeah, I like the 6-9-2 more personally.
Yeah.
I think. I don't think you're going to get this 3-1 port. I think this is the big difference if you watch, the other video we did. I think the 8-3 sheep port is going to the 8-3 3-1 port double sheep is going to get taken on this board. I'm pretty confident.
So the thing is, if you take 6-9-2 now, what is left? You definitely have the 3-10-11, which is a great spot. But otherwise, I agree with you. There is not that much left. Maybe the 4-9-11.
Yeah, well, maybe the 4-9-11 gets left.
I think that's again very personal and very much depends on the preferences of the player, though. So,
Yep. So I like the 6-9-2, and I like pointing towards that 6-3 coastal spot. I don't think you're going to need the wheat or the wood port in this game. And you don't need to protect that 2 ore. It's never going to get blocked.
Exactly, and then I think it's valuable to protect the 9 brick, because that's of course also a target spot if there are many knights already on the board. So
yeah, I think your priority is to get on the brick port, and then you want to get on the 6-3.
Yeah, exactly.
And you want to city your 5-9-10, and you just want to do some crazy production game.
Exactly,
it's going to be insane. Hope for a couple 6s, get a resource monopoly the wheat, build a city off of it, stuff like that.
Yeah, stuff like
that's sort of your game.
Yeah, I think the brickport is key for that strategy. Hope that not many inventors get picked off earlier, I think. And hope it runs.
Yeah, I think it could work, especially like brickport and wheatport. It can very much work in Cities and Knights because you can go for any commodity track. You can go for the least contested metropolis because you can port for whatever you want.
Yeah. So I think it's not very uncommon that you sometimes win a metro without getting the getting the commodity or a ton less than the other players. But
and I think it's really important you take the 6-9-2 over the 6-9-3 because you want that starting ore to build your first knight. So
all the early
you're just a couple of brick. You're 1-9 or 2 5s away from being able to save your city, which is really important.
Yeah, I think that's a good starting setup on this board, considering there's no ore. So
even with no wheat, it's still playable.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. So 6-9-2, I like that setup really much. Yeah,
I do too.
With the 3-10, what do you match?
So it's going to be the 9-10-11 or the 3-10-11 in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it depends on how much you value the aqueduct.
I agree.
I personally would probably go with the 3-10-11 for 2 reasons. First of all, of course, the aqueduct, and there are even more reasons because also the 9 could be a very big target for the inventor just because there are cities on it. And one more thing is, if the 4 doesn't roll, you have still a chance of the 10 rolling because you start with 2 wood already with the 3-10-11. So that's also I think a small factor you should count in.
I would point my road to try to get on the 8-3.
Yeah, I agree with that. That matches the 8 on the sheep, so you double up on the 8. So we agree with 3-10-11, or should we consider 9-10-11 more?
I like the 3-10-11. I think it's playable. I think it's good.
3-10-11 to raid. Makes absolutely sense. And we finish off with the 5-10 spot. And I think here comes the tough one. 9-4-11 or 3-8.
You could also do 9-3-4.
9-3-4, sure.
I think so. The difference between base and Cities and Knights is 3-8 is super playable. You could play with the 3-8 here.
Yeah. Because
you get on the 3-8, you get some progress cards, you get on the sheep port on the other side, and you have this very weird, wacky setup. Part of me also likes just the 9-4-11. You get the ore. You'd have to double road out to get to this. The problem is you don't have a port, and you don't have any good commodity gain.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Of course, you start with the ore, but what is happening after you saved your city? I feel like you don't really have a path to winning. With the 3-8, you have the clear path, you want the Cloth Metro, you have a great game with the many monos, the merchants, stuff like that, you port your stuff, build a lot of roads and settlements. You have a chance to go for the aqueduct if you build up on the city, on the 10, port for the 3-4 paper.
Yeah.
So I would definitely
I think it gives you something useful to do with all the wheat that you're going to have this game. I like the 8-3. 8-3 point out towards the 9-3-4, see if you can get there. You're gonna save your city. It's gonna happen unless you don't roll an 8, which I mean you're gonna lose anyway if the 8s don't roll. So
exactly. Yeah, I think of course it's always tough to bank on one number in Cities Knights, but if the 8s roll one time early, you're definitely not out of game. So
yeah, I mean I love banking on one number in Cities and Knights just because you get so many cards at once, you can do so much. So
exactly.
I think 8-5-10 8-3 playable, and that's why you can take the 8-5-10 in cities and knights in first position, is because the 6-3 or the 8-3 are both playable. Also is the 8-10. If somebody were to take the 8-4-3 instead of the 8-10-4, you could take the 8-10, which is also playable. So
Oh yeah, absolutely.
there's a lot of playable strategies here.
Yeah, I think that's a very big difference between the base and the City Knights playoffs, because first position is completely screwed in base game. There is just nothing that goes well with another spot, at least not when we place it out.
Yeah, no, you have to get creative. I think you really have to think outside the box to make something work.
Exactly.
But here you have that 8-3 as kind of an out to play, and you can play would we cheap when you have cities like this. So
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I think it's way less problematic to get a good or a decent setup in Cities and Knights, because also spots with less production can work pretty well.
yeah, I think the place where people fail in cities and knights is they're not efficient with their plays. I've done a few cities and knights like classes and some analysis, and I think that people like value stuff that doesn't get them points quick enough and doesn't increase their production, and that's where you fall more than your setups a lot of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, are you happy with those placements? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting game. I think that the fourth player having this chance for the aqueduct, I think second position's in a really good spot. But also, like, I think everyone's very playable in this game. It's going to be a very interesting Cities and Knights game. I would love to play that. I wonder if we can recreate that board and play it or something.
Yeah, absolutely. If one time there is a possibility, you're of course invited to play this with me. And until now, I want to thank you very much that you were here today.
No, thank you, Starshine. I know that it's been a while. I know that we've been meaning to do something together on a video for a while. I'm glad we were able to do it. I think this is fun, and yeah, Cities and Knights is fun. It's a good time, and I've enjoyed playing it. So this would be a cool board.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have to recreate that board somehow.
This would be wild.
Yeah. All right. Are there any of those words you want to tell the viewers?
The one thing I will say is if you're looking to get into Cities and Knights, the Aqueduct is really good. Commodities are really good, and your second city is the best move you have in the game. Don't forget that. Always take that everywhere you go, and you will do great.
Oh yeah, that's a great tip for beginners, definitely. I have one more good tip for you for the beginners. Don't play with DJ. You want to win. If you want to, he will crush you. So
only in tournaments for some reason. Thank you, Starshine.
Yeah, I want to thank you for being here today, and I want to thank the viewers for watching this one. I really hope you check out the base game analyze if you haven't done yet. We placed out this exactly board in another video for the base game, and I also think that was really interesting to see the differences. So, hope to see you there, and hope to see you in the next one. Have a shining day, and see ya!